I just got off the phone with my brother. I had a very inspiring conversation with him because he's very much been on the path of self realization for a very long time as well, and also is quite a realized being. And we were discussing about a few family matters, but then it came to the point of our conversation where we recognized certain things of our own aspect, of our own upbringing, that were very contrary to the realization that we now have of being just this pure, aware, conscious, open, formless presence. And the remarkable thing, my friends, I remember very well when I was a teenager, I always assumed that a future event would make me happy. So I was always living in the future in my mind. I was always thinking about a clear example. A perfect example was I was in a British school at the time. I was living in Europe. I wanted to say, oh, if I only go, I don't like this school anymore. I don't really like my friends. If I go to this school, I'm going to be so much happier. Right? And I convinced my parents to change schools, and I went to another school. You think I was happier? No, of course not. I was fantasizing or entertaining a projection in my mind that a future event would make the me, which is a fiction, the little me, which is a contrived concept, which we were not born with. You were not born with an idea of a you that is formed of language. Please realize that you were not born speaking language. You were not born having a communication. Hey, I'd like to do this. Let's go. No, you were born with no language. You were only born as what you are right now, which is I am. You are the I am. If you drop all concepts, if you drop all objectivity, because this is not an objective reality, this is a purely subjective reality. Again, this is not an objective reality. What is objective? Objective is all passing phenomena, all passing impermanence. For example, all materiality is obviously objective, right? House, car, whatever, it's all objective. All thoughts are objective. They're passing phenomena. You've never had a thought that's lasted your whole life, and you are not your thoughts. You've just been witnessing all of them. Same thing with emotions. It's passing objectivity. Emotions come and go. You have not had an emotion that's lasted your entire life. In fact, we label emotions. If you stop labeling emotions and giving them objectivity, you will also suffer far less from them, by the way. So back to that realization I have, well, I didn't realize this when I was a teenager. I was deeply in the dream state. I was deeply believing that I was that little me. And I was suffering because of that, because the little me is an illusion. You can never satisfy an illusion. It's made out of concepts. You were not born with concepts. You're not born with languages. You can't satisfy that illusion. How are you going to satisfy an illusion? You will never satisfy an illusion. So then, let's continue. Then I decided I want to move to the US. I want to go to university or boarding school, actually. Did that make me happier? No. University, I said, I have to go here. I'm going to be so happy. If I get into this university, I'm going to be so happy. It's going to make my life. That's it. Then I'm set. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever said anything like that? I laugh because it's totally seen through now. It was a just total dream. And it was now. That happened now. Let me ask you a question, my friends. Are you aware? Don't go to your mind for the answer. Feel it intuitively. Are you aware? If you say yes, great. I hope so. Do you exist? Do you exist right now? Don't think about it. Okay. So realize what you just did. If you said yes to both questions, are you aware and do you exist? So if you said yes to both questions, so what are you aware of and what do you exist as? What are you aware of and what do you exist as? Again, don't go to your mind for the answer. Just this, presence. But don't think about presence, because presence has nothing to do with time. It's a timeless realm. The only thing that's ever existed. And it's experienced by the feeling. It's not even a feeling, but now we're getting into the unexplainable. Words have limitations because you were not born with them. You were born as pure conscious awareness. That's all you are. That's all you have ever been. And it's experienced and felt as I am. Not felt, but here, we're getting close. I am. I exist. I am aware. Do you exist? Yes. Are you aware? Yes. You exist as I am. It feels personal. It feels like it's you, but it's not you. There is no objective reality. When I was speaking to my brother, and I wrote this down because I never want to forget this. This quote came to me. This just came during our conversation, towards the end of my conversation, when we were talking about precisely the narrative that I just offered you from the context of our conversation was, I thought this school would make me happier. I thought going to this university would make me happy. None of these things made me happy. I remember even my father liked this. He had a little boat, a very small boat. In Sweden, and he wanted a bigger boat because he thought it would make him happier, right? And he saved a lot of money and he really tried, He finally got the bigger boat. After about 1 month, the joy was not there anymore. That excitement is very short-lived. And yet we focus and sacrifice so much for little moments of excitement. So what did that tell me? This is what I wrote down after the conversation with my brother. I tried to think my way into believing a future event would make me happy, only to realize I was just running away from myself. I believed a future event would make me happy, only to realize that all I was doing was I just kept running away from myself because I kept deluding myself by going back into my thoughts, by going back and entertaining concepts, believing that I would satisfy a concept. Go deep, understand. Number one, you will never satisfy a concept because a concept is a very fleeting, temporary energy movement that is given form and shape by your thinking. You are obviously not a concept. You were also never born with any concepts whatsoever. So what's always been here is the I am. To quote Ken Wilber, 5 days ago, what was here? I am. A year ago, what was here right now? Are you aware right now? Are you present right now? Yes, there was only presence. There was only this I am. This I am is unshakable. It is timeless. 1,000 years ago, all there was the I am. 1,000,000 years ago, all there was the I am. Before Abraham, I am. I am that I am. Before the Big Bang, there was I am. The I am is beyond the concept of eternal. And the I am is what you are, what you have always been, what you will always be. You will never find yourself in a thought. The easiest thing to do, my friends, just surrender. Surrender, surrender. Not what you think surrender means. It's not a position of weakness. It's actually a position of strength to surrender. Because what does that mean? You're giving the ego, the idea you have of who yourself, you're letting go of it and giving it to a higher power. And when you do that, beyond blissful. You realize that you've never been in control, and there is a flow of life that happens on its own. And in the past few videos, I described about the flow of a river. You don't have to push a river down the mountain. It has a current, right? It's an automatic current. You're not controlling the current of the river. In fact, if you try to control the current of the river, all we do is we create blockages, we create resistance, right? Same thing with the mind. Don't entertain it too much. You start to realize it's a lot of concepts. You start to realize it's very robotic. In fact, when I speak to a lot of people right now, and I was mentioning this to my brother, it's immediately seen through, especially people who are very very much in the belief system of their conditioning, and they are completely identified with their ego body identity, you start to see robotic statements. You start to see collective conditioned statements that you might hear in the media, and then it comes out of their mouth. Have you ever had that experience? And the belief is of themselves is so rigid, is so stern, that there is no light, there's no space for understanding that that is a object that's being observed. You can't be what you observe. If a thought is coming, you are observing that thought. You are the witness to the thought. You are observing that. You are the witness. You are the I am. You've always been the I am. You were born the I am. Before you were born, you were the I am. Digest this for a little bit. Marinate in this understanding for a little bit. And whenever you remember, my friends, whenever you feel a distraction, remember, you're witnessing a distraction. You are not a distraction. Whenever you feel stress, you're witnessing a state of stress. And then realize who is the one that is suffering from that stress. Try to find that one. Sit still. Starting self-inquiry. Ramana Maharshi's process of self-inquiry is one of the things that really did it for me. I only speak from experience, so try it. Ask, who am I? Who am I? Sit still. Drop everything until you can't drop anything else. The thing you cannot drop is you. That's how you get to full authenticity. You just drop everything. Drop, 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 drop. Then you get to this pure I amness. I amness. Always been here. Everything else is coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. And then you realize you're the eternal. You realize you're the one. But not the one, not the thing, the one you think you are. There's only awareness and there's only subjectivity in this reality, and you are that. Bless you. I love you.